What's up, guys? Alright. Let's start off by saying that those who don't know their history are always doomed to repeat it, no matter what. We as a gun-owning community as a whole, we need to contact our representatives, our elected officials at all levels, state, municipal, federal. Now, the reason why I say we need to contact them at the state level and the municipal level as well is because in the state of Illinois right now, the Democratic governor there is attempting to shove pretty much a carbon copy of the Feinstein gun violence bill down the throats of the law-abiding citizens there in Illinois. And in all honesty, it's probably going to work because they don't really have a state culture, a regional culture, I guess you could say there, like they do in other states like, say, Texas or Montana, or you get my drift. You need to contact your representatives, y'all. When you do, use fact. Don't try to speak with emotion. All right? Emotion is irrational. All right? Trying to defend an argument from an emotional stance is 100% irrational, and it will not work. You need to be calm. You need to be analytical. You need to be logical. You need to use fact. Irrefutable, hard fact. You need to cite statistics from the FBI's crime reports. Every year they put out a crime report, and it breaks down all crime in the United States of America. Everything, state by state, all right, and crime by crime. You need to let them know that, as if they didn't, but you need to remind them that severe gun control has been tried and has failed in several countries throughout the globe. Great Britain, Russia, Mexico, Australia, all countries that have sweeping, very restrictive gun laws. There are also countries that have horrible issues right now with violent crime. Maybe not necessarily mass shootings like we have right now, but people getting beat to death, people getting stabbed to death, people getting raped, people getting mugged, people getting robbed, just people getting accosted in all shapes and forms by criminal element of all matters. You also need to throw in the fact that there are countries in the world that has realized that gun control is a fraud. Probably the most prominent amongst that group of countries is Canada, our great white neighbor. It's not a racial term, I promise you. All right. Our great white neighbor to the north, after several years, they finally repealed their long gun registry. Why would they do this? Well, it was expensive. It was horribly expensive to maintain and keep up. And it didn't work in deterring crime. It didn't do a damn thing to deter crime. So the only thing that the gun registry did, the long gun registry, the registration of shotguns, of rifles, of all kinds, pump actions, lever actions, single shots, double barrels, bolt actions, semi-automatics, the registry of all these guns, it didn't do anything because long guns are not a major contributor in crime because they are impractical to carry around. So for years they had this law in place that was nothing more than a major unnecessary tax burden on the citizens of Canada. And now our elected officials are trying to do the same thing here. And the gun community, from what I have found for the most part, is silently falling back on the NRA, saying that they will win the fight. How well did that work out in 1994? Now, I got it. We have an advantage we didn't have in '94. We have a Republican-controlled House of Representatives. But honestly, how long do you think that's going to last in the present political landscape? Smart money says that by the time the next round of senators gets elected, the Republicans might control the Senate, and they might not control the House. So you can't count on partisan control of any institute of government. It doesn't work. It never has. It never will. It might work in the short run, but in the long run, we need to take a stand. We need to present a united front, stand shoulder to shoulder as a community of legal, armed, and gun-owning Americans. It is that simple. If we stand united, it is harder for them to find a weakness to attack. If we stand united, they have to go after us all. That can't happen. Because then you're talking about disarming, inconveniencing, pissing off, in shorthand, almost 100 million Americans that are involved in firearms ownership in some way, shape, or form. So, you need to type up flyers, guys. We need to get involved. Type up flyers, hang them up in gun shops, on public bulletin boards, public forums of all sorts and shapes. Get the word out to all of your fellow gun owners within your local community. You need to contact your representatives first and foremost. That's what needs to happen now, right now. And if you can, organize a rally with all your gun owners. Throw together a big, barbecue or something or other. Just unite, gather, assemble somewhere. And call the news. Call a media outlet. They'll show up, I promise you. Especially right now, if it involves guns, they're going to be all over it like white on rice. Most importantly, after contacting your representatives, is buy an NRA membership. Christ, it's $35. $35. $, the number 3, and the number 5 lumped together. $35. It's not $350. It's not $3,000. It's $35. I can't think of anyone that can afford to shoot, that can afford a gun, that can't afford to separate $35 from their account to buy, at least for now, an added little bit of protection for their Second Amendment rights. It's unfathomable. If you have an issue with the NRA, fine. Cool. You still need to get a membership because, damn it, they are the most effective, most powerful, and largest lobbying organization in the government that stands up for gun rights. But that being said, we can't fall back on them. They failed in '94. But we do need them as part of this process. And, I got it. There are people out there that are just lazy by nature and they don't give a damn. They're going to avoid politics like drug dealers avoid cops. First of all, if you are in that category, you are wrong as hell. And secondly, our system of government requires citizen involvement. It requires citizen engagement. There's no getting around it. When Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, and all the others wrote the Constitution that effectively overthrew the Articles of Confederation, they committed an act of mutiny in the name of liberty to give the American people adequate protection from the government in the forms of the Constitution itself and the Bill of Rights. Now, shortly after that Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia, the national capital at the time, an elderly woman approached Benjamin Franklin and asked, "Mr. Franklin, what have you given us?" After having overthrown the government in a peaceful manner, after having overthrown the government and started the movement to ratify the Constitution that we have in place today, Benjamin Franklin thought about it for a couple seconds, and he replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." We need to keep it. Part of keeping it is keeping the Second Amendment and respecting it and leaving it unmolested, because the Second Amendment is the one amendment that protects all other freedoms, and without it, then our First Amendment rights to speak freely in criticism of the government, in criticism of each other, is nothing more than words on paper. Our Fourth Amendment right against illegal seizures and searches is nothing more than words on paper. Our Fifth Amendment right to say nothing incriminating against ourselves when questioned by the police, when on the witness stand, or when on trial, is nothing more than words on paper. And the 10th Amendment rights of the states to exercise powers not enumerated to the federal government, well, you get where I'm going with this. They're all words on paper that can be torn up at the government's leisure if we don't have an effective deterrent from tyranny. Now, I'm not saying that the federal government right now is a tyrannical regime, and I hope and pray that we never do have a tyrannical regime within our society governing our people. However, the possibility is there. Human beings, human men, human women are all fallible creatures. None of us are perfect. We all have instincts and motivations for what we do. Some of those are good, some of those are bad. They differ with each person. And the way we act on those motivations and those instincts and those desires, again, it differs person to person. Adolf Hitler was democratically elected. Just to let you know. So it doesn't take a whole lot, and it doesn't take much. And it can happen easy as hell. And every dictator in history, every one of them, the first step when they decided they wanted to seize control, absolute control, and make the move from democracy to despotism was disarmament of the citizens. So, keep that in mind. If you're willing to contribute and be a part of the solution, but you don't know what to say, or you legitimately don't have the time to look up facts and statistics that are in our favor, at the bottom of this video in the description box, I'm going to have a letter, a generic letter typed up that you can change for your individual purposes or use it as is, to email, write, call, or hell, copy and paste it and print it off and go down to your congressman's local office and give your spiel. And it doesn't matter if what you say, what you write, what you send is, unique to yourself, or if it is, copy and pasted from this letter at the bottom of this video. So long as we provide a unified front, stand shoulder to shoulder, and show that we won't stand for gun control because it doesn't work, well, the message is delivered all the same. United we stand, divided we fall.